It's going to be crazy. I'm going to tell you right now, this Millville crowd is not a quiet crowd. And I have a feeling they're going to make some noise on the 13th.
Hello and welcome to Lunch Break, presented by Dietz & Watson. I'm Rhea Hughes. I'm joined by John Finger, CSNPhilly.com reporter. Welcome to Lunch Break.
Thank you.
That's actually my, I know Chuck. He was Chuck Brett was actually Mike Trout's first Little League coach.
Okay.
So, and I've watched games with him, Eagles games, and I know how loud he can get, and some people in his family. So it is, what's the expectation? I mean, we've had people talk about this for a long time, this game, Mike Trout coming back. What do you think is the first reaction fans are going to give him?
I imagine that it'll probably be pretty loud,
Yeah.
and he'll get a cheer for a guy who's not here.
Yeah.
Or not a Philadelphia player, never was a Philadelphia player, probably won't be a Philadelphia player.
2021, don't rule
Okay,
it out.
all right.
Or 2020.
But he,
we can dream. Yeah.
It's rare that guys that are with his background and never was part of the Philadelphia teams to actually be cheered.
And the cool thing about it is that, it kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, you think, the story in the paper today was he was in the parking lot when the Phillies won the World Series in 2008 and didn't have enough money to get a ticket to get in.
Okay.
Now he's, $144 million contract. He's been in the cover of Sports Illustrated 2 or 3 times. Local kid. I know the funny thing about mentioning that Chuck was the Little League coach, I also read that there's no Little League games in Millville tonight or tomorrow so that they can come and watch. I mean, for a town that tiny, it's like, I guess, it's a great civic pride kind of thing.
Yeah, it reminds me of a place near where I'm from. I'm from Lancaster, and there's a town called Columbia, PA, which is very similar. It's a little smaller than Millville, but when something like that happens, somebody from the local boy makes good, the place goes crazy.
Everybody just kind of latches onto it. And just talk a little bit about what he is. I mean, what makes him so great? He's got everything. I mean, we had Ruben Amaro Jr. on this morning, and it's like the guy just has every tool. You always hear about a 5 tool. He actually has every one of them.
He seems like he's kind of like a throwback kind of guy, and which is interesting because he's kind of the darling of the sabermetric movement. Like he's the guy who puts all the advanced stats in order.
He's a
throwback guy.
Yeah, he's a guy. I understand what you're saying because I always, the fight you always have with some of the sabermetrics, like, but the guy does stuff that you see with your eyes. Right. This guy actually does the stuff with his eyes and fits in the numbers category.
Right, and that's kind of
unusual.
Yeah, you don't have that often. Is like I guess the argument was with Miguel Cabrera how he is the traditional stat guy. He's pretty good too, but. Mike Trout is old school and new school, so it's kind of fascinating.
The crazy thing is he's only 22 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get past that.
That is, it really is. It's
right.
You look at that, but you do. I mean, the contract he signed, he specifically signed it so that he becomes a free agent again before he's 30.
Right.
I mean, it was pretty smart by him. I mean, look, 144 million. Great grandchildren of his won't have to work.
And baseball is a game where it kind of you get better as you get older.
Exactly.
And he's
That's
22,
frightening.
so he's not even close to his prime.
And that was Brad Lidge called him the next Mickey Mantle, which I thought that's a pretty impressive, compliment to pay him. Kind of reminds you a little bit.
I guess. I mean, he's kind of like like a country.
That's exactly. I didn't want to say that. You're
strong.
saying it. I love that. There it is. Country.
Yeah.
See, I rely on John to give me interesting words about players. I won't tell you what he referred to at Cole Hamels, but it was on our radio show last week. But I like that. I like
He's
country
particular.
strong. He's particular, exactly. One last question.
Okay.
We get to the 9th inning. Say it's a 2-1 game. Trout's at the plate, and Jonathan Papelbon.
Wow.
First of all, Papelbon coming in. Boos or cheers?
I'd say a mix.
A mix.
Just because Philadelphia can't agree to boo everybody.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But if Trout hits a home run off of him, the reaction in the crowd is
I think it's a cheer.
I won't disagree with you on that.
I kind of remember when Jim Thome hit a home run in the 9th inning of a game that led a comeback for the Twins.
That was the Twins, and I went, oh God, they're cheering, and then the next thing the Phillies wound up losing in extra innings, right?
Yeah, because Jim Thome started the rally with a big home run.
So, all right, maybe not want to cheer for that job, but I'm sure he's going to get a great one. All right, I want to thank John Finger, CSNPhilly.com reporter, for being our guest on Lunch Break, presented by Dietz & Watson.